Welcome to the last round of this Blue-Red Delver League. We're on the draw. Opponent kept on 7. Bold, Ponder, Brainstorm, 2 creatures. This is a fine hand. Like if our opponent does like a very all-in deck, then it's very bad, since we are lacking Force of Will or Daze, but just for fair matchups, it's fine. It's not too resilient to Wasteland, which could be a problem, but in general, I'm happy with it. That's not what I wanted to see. Well, that's better to see than a Cells of the Void, but not ideal. So the question here is what I want to do. I could ponder trying to find a Daze, which not very likely to hit, or one of the forces. That could be good. Or I could Wasteland. If I Wasteland, it means I'm not doing any of these things next turn. So I would be digging for stuff next turn. And the question is, if they use these 3 mana plus like another soul land to play something for 4 mana or 5, am I beating it if I'm killing the Ancient Tomb? And if I ponder this turn, do I Wasteland on turn 2 and still don't do anything else? I think I have to try and hope they're just land light or can't do much without that land in play. I think digging there is too rough, and it means I'm basically delaying my Wasteland until turn 3, because if I go with that lineup, I really want to jam Arcanist on turn 2 and hope he can get a reponder off. But yeah. Bog. Okay, so they're on the Curse Stompy deck, probably. Ooh, Force of Negation is a good hit here. I'm not gonna play around Wasteland here. I think I can't really afford it. I just have to keep any land I find here. I'm not gonna keep this. Don't think the Bolt is very good in this matchup, nor is, well, the rest of the hand. It's very tricky what to do with the Force next turn, since Forces are really good in a matchup like this. But I also really need my Brainstorm if I miss a land drop. The top of my deck is a land. It's so good to keep Force around. I'm definitely let them resolve the second Grim Monolith. Like, when they get to a certain amount of mana, the rest of the mana is not that important. Them Carning here, I'm definitely gonna counter this. This puts them out of a lot of mana. I don't have a way to get it overboard. Look, I could let it resolve and then counter what they get and then bolt it, but yeah, I don't want to type my mana. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna force with my Force. It's pretty rough, but they might be quite far out of mana by how this went. Okay, Expedition Map probably helps them get up in their mana again. But these 2 are tapped for like the coming 1 or 2 turn cycles. So if I can get a land here, I could try to get something going. It would be really good to top deck a land here. Just to jam the Dreadhorde Arcanist, that allows me to look at a lot of cards before they get their mana going again. And I can hope to find another Force effect. Now, I hate brainstorming in a spot like this, but I have to do it. I just need to hit my land. This is tricky. So if they have another land in hand, it's very bad to Wasteland here, since they are gonna get to activate Expedition Map, get another land, and then they have a lot of mana again. If they don't, I might catch them off guard by okay, so I'm definitely gonna put this on top. Like no matter what I do, it's not really a reason to keep this around. So what are they gonna do next turn? Let's say they just activate this and play a land. And they could wasteland me if they have a singleton wasteland in their deck. Would be bad. Let's say they have a like if they have a land in their hand, I just don't get anywhere by wastelanding here. That's a bit of my issue here, and why I think I shouldn't just hope they don't have anything good to do. That they just map for a land for a soul land, get to untap this next turn, and I get like a lot of time for some reason. I don't think it's very likely that that's what's going to happen, but I'm also not 100% sure on what type of builds they're on here. So they could charge that to 2 next turn, this turn, and then kill my Dreaded Arcanist in the turn cycle. But that means they're not doing anything else, and they have to blow up their own land and tap out for it. So that's fine with me. If that's what they're doing, I'm just gonna play another Dreaded Arcanist and go from there. I might brainstorm next turn, so I can hit a land and play the Arcanist. The upside is just pretty big, but so they're not blowing the blast zone, but they're searching for a piece of the depths combo then. Our ancient tomb. Okay. So they did do that, and now the question is, do they play something this turn that's really gonna cause issues, or are they untapping this and then having a lot of mana on the next turn? If that's what they're doing, then it's great for me. If they're playing something good here, it could be rough. Then again, Karn isn't too bad here for me. Okay, it looks like I'm going to get to untap with the Arcanist. That's always a good thing. Now it's basically finding land, finding forces. That's the goal here. I would really love to brainstorm into land, but I also want to wasteland and dig deep. So the question is here, I think I need to see the most amount of cards I can see on this turn cycle. So while brainstorming first is tempting, I really want to start on a ponder and see what that gets me. If that doesn't get me anything that protects me from the spells they could have, then I'm definitely brainstorming. And otherwise, I might decide to wasteland and keep up spell piss. So if they untap this, they basically have 6 mana if I take this one out. Which means spell pierce probably isn't too good. Except if they try to do Karn and something else in the same turn. Or if they try to curse me. But they had the 5 mana, so the only reason they would do that is if they were playing around days. With the Curse of Misfortunes. Definitely gonna try and ponder here. See if that gets us force. Something like that. Like it's just too risky to young Pyromancer here first. So a Borrower is a nice card. And lands are good. So the question is lands that don't shuffle and a Borrower better, knowing that means I'm not getting a force. No, I think I have to go for the force will. Like there's just so many cards they could have that just finish me. Like if I had a brainstorm and a preordain, or brainstorm and a ponder, I probably would have kept the lands I saw on top. But without that, I don't think it's worth it. So what are they doing here? Are they untapping now, or are they casting a spell? Is it an agent? No, they're untapping now. Yeah, that's fine with me. Oh, there's the Force Wheel and the land. So the Lightning Bolt isn't ideal here, but it might close out a game where they have to activate Ancient Tomb a couple of times, and I need it in case they get a card on board and I really need to get it off. I don't think I need a second Dreadlord Arcanist, so that's going to go. And then it's between the Cantrips and the Young Pyromancer. I could see playing the Young Pyromancer here, but it might be better to either Wasteland them and keep up mana, so they're on 6 then, or to play the Delver and Wasteland them. So they're going to be on 8 mana if I do nothing. If they have a Soul Land, they could cast something like an Ulamog. I also really want to get pressure going. And if I wasteland something different than the Ancient Tomb, then they have 7 mana. So I don't think I can really fight over the mana. So what I'm going to do is put Delver on top then, and just jam a Young Pyromancer and hope that gets me there. Then next turn start doing other stuff. Yeah, I think I don't get them low enough on mana this turn to impact it, and if they have to use their Grim Monolith next turn, then I can fight over their mana the turn after and get Spell Pierce online. But I don't think I have enough to tax them on this round to get them low enough. I'm gonna get another Volcanic Island because I really want my double blue so I can play cantrips and stuff, but I also need my red for the Young Pyromancer. So I have a very unassuming and unthreatening board state, but I think they have to double spell here. If they can't do that, I think I win the game just by grinding them out with the Dreadlord Arcanist in the next 2 turns and combining Spell Pierce and Wasteland. So this is the turn where they need to double spell. If they just step out for something big and I get to counter it, I think this game is over. But, well, maybe not over, but very hard for them. So now they get to 10 mana. I was hoping they didn't have Ulamog in their deck, but Ugin tells me otherwise. So this gives them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So they had 10. They could just hardcast Ulamog, but they've been playing around days for some reason. If I let this resolve, they're going to basically plus 2 mana. So then they're at 12. So they get to like Ugin and do something. So the question is, do I play around them having Ulamog in hand? Because if not, I think I can fight over other stuff. I lose to so many other things if I counter the Manifold Key here that I don't think I should. Like, obviously, if they had Ulamog, they could have cast it in the first place before casting the Manifold Key. But if I have to fight over the Manifold Key and they just play something like a Karn or Rage or a big Curse or something like that, I'm just done. So I don't think I can fight over it. I'm just gonna have to hope they have a big spell here that doesn't have a cast effect, and that I get to dig for another Force of Will. It looks like they're activating their Eye of Ugin, which means they'll have some an Eldrazi for 5 or less they can cast. Oh no, they're tapping it for mana, so they are casting the Ulamog maybe, which I hoped they didn't have. This is 8, yeah, they have it. So they're hitting land. Like I was like, well, I get to Wasteland the Eye of Ugin, they have 1 card in hand. I'm still gonna have to Force Will this. I'm gonna do it with the Spell PS. At this point I can't fight over their mana anymore. I'm just gonna have to try and beat them down. Ideally find another Wasteland to get rid of the Eye of Ugin. And just slug my way through this. The issue, of course, is that I don't have a Dreadhorde Arcanist anymore now, so digging for another Force of Will is going to be harder. But if this stays in play, I do still have quite a lot of pressure, like 1 or 2 turn cycles. So I want to find both a Force of Will and a Wasteland. It's going to be tough. Double Lightning Bolt. We might get a surprise win with that, but I'm going to start on the Ponder here. These are likely enough to get value that I just want to dig deeper instead of trying to brainstorm them away with the Ponder. I don't think this is what I was looking for. I think a land is fine-ish, but that means keeping these 2 on top, and I don't think that's a viable plan. So we still get the land. Now we get to brainstorm. Maybe we're gonna get rid of the lightning bolts anyway, but I think there's a chance that like it takes them 1 or 2 turn cycles to get something going, and we get 2 attacks in and bolt them dead. So, like here, I'm going to. Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to. Like I could keep triple bolt them now to 14, attack them to 11, and then next turn I have lethal. But that's assuming they can't find anything with Eye of Ugin and have enough mana to kill me. So let's say they get Walking Ballista. This is 3 mana for 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put I think bolts here are better than just drawing a random card next turn, because drawing a Force of Will next turn isn't going to get me anywhere. So I'm going to put the Chain Lightning on top. Play a Volcanic Island, have the bolt open for end of turn, and then have Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt for next turn, and have to hope that if they get it like a Walking Ballista, that they tap out for it and can't clear my board, take a couple too much damage and die because of that. Like, I have to hope for something here. Like, either that they don't affect the board enough on this turn cycle, or that they run into a daze. Like, there's a very real chance that they think they can stabilize over 2 turns, but because I have 3 bolts, I might get them with that. So the city is tough because this makes it, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 activate with this. Well, they only have 3 mana left. So activating Eye of Ugin doesn't get them anywhere. I think, I'm not sure. There's like 3. Yeah. I'm checking if I can kill him through Ulamog. Spyglass. Sure. Let's see what I have. Like, I think they needed to have something in their hand, like a Walking Ballista from hand. If they played that around the days, I think they would have gotten there. But now they entered there, just that. This is 6. Oh wait, this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. So they're not dead on board unless I daze my own Oh no, I can't place my own instant bolt. But I have a bolt on top, so I think I just win. Unless I'm missing something, of course. Like they can activate I here, get something, and oh, they just end up. Okay. And I pressed F5 because I absolutely want to make sure I wasn't skipping this turn for some reason, which is why this still triggered, and I had to say okay to it. So I'm glad that worked out. I don't think I had any other decent option. There's no way they can make red, right? Just to be sure, I'm going to attack first. So they, everything is on board. I can't imagine I'm missing them being able to make red mana, but this is still safer if you don't want to do the brain power into figuring out whether they can make red mana. Like else, they could have copied the chain lightning, maybe kill this one and go to 1, but now they can't, and they are very dead. Okay, the double force of will got there through their, what was it, turn 5 or turn 4 Ulamog, but they didn't do much else, so they went like Karn into Ulamog, a bunch of mana. I think this was an interesting game from like what I had to do from turn to turn. I think I had a lot of options. In the end, I don't think it mattered enough. I think there were multiple ways to win this game, I mean. So I decided at some point that, okay, if they have a Ulamog in their hand, it's going to be bad for me, but this is better than everything else. If they had Ulamog and nothing else like they had, I could also still win from that spot. So that was a good thing for me, of course. Definitely bring in the Braids, Nilrod. I might bring in the Hull Breacher, just to have a flash threat, which can be very nice versus stuff like Karn. They think they can stabilize the board, -2, get the 6-drop artifact to lock me out. If I then just drop this, kill the Karn, then it's fine again. So that's a small consideration for the Hull Breacher. Other than that, the Science also gives me some more attacking power in a blue card. So I think it's better than a Lightning Bolt. So that ends up with me basically cutting a couple of bolts for Braids, Nilrod, the Royal Science. Now the question is, the Royal Science versus Hull Breacher versus that, or the last bolt. For last bolt. I'm gonna play 2 of these. I think I have to keep all my other counters. I don't think Seasoned Pyromancer is great here, post board, and I think I want the Hull Breacher over the Lightning Bolt. I like having enough cards that are blue, because Force of Wills are just the best cards I have in this matchup, in these kinds of matchups. Just stompy decks that you need as many Force of Wills as you can get, and then you need ways to close the game. So having anything that you have to close the game to also be a blue card is important, and yeah, Lightning Bolts can come in clutch against Karn. Sometimes you can let it resolve, but I think I like this more. So it's pretty tough that we don't have a Force in this hand, but we do have the Abrade for a Chalice of the Void. That means that we're not cantripping until the turn 3, which is pretty rough. But I think I'm going to keep this. Like if this was something else, not very useful, I think I can't keep this, but because it's an answer to Chalice of the Void, and there's a good chance that they keep a very mediocre hand because it has Chalice of the Void on turn 1, I think I want to keep this. Like, I'd still rather them not have Chalice of the Void, of course, but yeah. Since this makes it such that I don't get to dig for answers, and if they now curve into a dot not zero or something like that, I'm screwed. But I just want to draw a force will. Brazen Borrower does give me a second out to Jealous if they dot not zero me, but it's not a great one. It's tricky, these matchups. On being on the draw and not having force of will just means that you're so dependent on how good their hand is. They found their first post. Alright. Is it a second chalice? Ooh, it's a candelabra into their own chalice. It's a lot worse than a second chalice. I think I'm gonna let their chalice be around for a while. No, I'm not. But I'm definitely not gonna blow it up in my main phase. So they weren't actually that black, but there's still a chance that they're splashing black for opposition agent. So I don't want to risk just being too cold to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fetch twice here. I am going to get a volcanic island here and not a mountain, and just pass a turn. I think the chance that they have Hull Breacher based on what I saw in game 2 isn't very high, but it is something they could have, and I don't think there's a reason to not play around it here. Like, yes, I may have fetched something else with this land specifically, but other than that, yeah, it's fine. So this is kind of interesting since I did. Oh, they're doing stuff. Dot not here. So I could let that resolve and then like bounce it, draw a card, and lose my braid. Nah, I don't think that's worth it. So I'm gonna just force it and pitch the brainstorm. But to continue my previous thought, is I could bounce the Chalice of the Void here. And just curve Borrower into Petty Theft into Borrower. But they have so much mana next turn that it's very cheap for them to recast Chalice. So I think that's too dangerous. And I probably need to start digging with these cantrips for another force. Like, I was starting this thought from the fact that they were passing through that turn and hadn't cast the Thought Seer yet. And if I were to get to the end step with the Force of Will and the other blue card still in my hand, I think there was a good consideration to just bounce the Chalice of the Void, have the Brazen Borrower ready to just be cast at the end of their next turn, make them spend some mana on the Chalice of the Void again, and go from there. Okay, so this is a great draw, of course. This does mean that I probably don't want to brainstorm this turn, since I don't want to use Scalding Tarn but want to Wasteland. I am going to preordain just to see if there's a Wasteland I can find. Another Wasteland I can find, of course, but mostly to see if there's a Force of Will. I don't need another land, and the Royal Scions can be good, but I don't think it's good right now. So a Young Pyromancer is pretty decent, but I'm not going to cast it this turn. Just got some of like 3 mana, so that's way more powerful. And now we have to hope that their hand isn't good. Especially if they have like another Cloud Post or another Soul Land and a good follow-up, it's going to be rough for us. Like a Totten Seer is beatable, because we can either bounce it or just control it with a Young Pyromancer. This gives them 4 mana again. So I'm just hoping it's not Totten Seer. Karn is also not ideal, but yeah. Spyglass, that gets to mess with our Scalding Tarn, but yes, that's fine. Like, using that to answer like our future Wastelands isn't great for them, because they know we have Brazen Borrower, so we can always bounce this and then use our Wastelands. So I think they just have to name this calling turn. But it could be like if their hand is so good that as long as their mana lives, they're gonna win. And yeah, then they name Wasteland. It also means that I can use that information. If I find a Wasteland here from the top of my deck, I definitely want to consider bouncing it and just Wastelanding one of their cards. Since they're clearly very scared of Wasteland, which means that their mana is probably soft. I actually think that's good enough here. Like, yes, I'm delaying my own pressure by doing this, but they only have so many Cloud Posts in their deck, and getting to take one out is just very powerful. If they wouldn't have Sorcerer's Spyglass, like if it, or if I didn't have the information that they didn't know I could draw a Wasteland, and went for it despite being able to hit a land in my hand, I may not want to have done it like this. But because of the information that they valued the Wasteland over the card I already had in my hand, and I think I just want to make this play. Now, of course, they can replay it and name my Scalding Tarn. They really like doing stuff in their second main phase, by the way. I don't know why. Maybe they get me mentally with it every time. I'm like, oh, they're do nothing this turn. Great. But it's actually not what they're. Okay, Karn. So we're gonna have to try and find a way to pressure that. I hope they just use it to get like a something not that useful, like a Snag Bridge or something I can answer in time. But because I don't have any pressure on it right now, they get to draw 2 cards with them, which is of course what makes it quite good here. And which really punishes me for this play, since this means I don't have any pressure in play to attack it. Like if you have 3 damage in play, Karn is fine. They got a Candelabra. Oh, I don't care for that. I don't really care about that, but I also don't think that was a great play by them. Yes, it gives them a couple more mana, but... So I have 1 Lightning Bolt remaining in my deck. I would love to draw it, but I don't think... that means I can't brainstorm for it, I think. Force of Will is great here. So now the question is, do I Brazen Borer or do I Young Pyromancer? I think I would just want to get the Young Pyromancer going. And now that I still have spells to play, and I'm gonna get a land out here. Actually gonna get a mountain, I think. No, that cuts me off double blue if they make one of my lands into an artifact. So like the 2 power from Young Pyromancer isn't great here, but I'm pretty sure I get to cast like either Force Will Brainstorm this turn cycle, so I have 3, which means I'm gonna be able to pressure the Karn off of getting more cards. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Yeah, so now they're gonna get, I don't know, maybe just the Lattice. Oh, they can get Golos. Golos for Ayavugin and then use the Candelabra to go for that, or like to get a post and to get a lot of mana. Yeah, I'm gonna have to force this. Just gives them too much options, like either the mana to cast what they have in their hand, or the Ayavugin or something like that to get it all going. In addition, of course, they can just get the 5-color land, and if they get to 8 mana, then they get to just roll me over with 3 spells from the top of their deck. But so we're still hoping to find a wasteland basically. Reduce the impact of Candelabra, and I think they only got that because they have a very expensive card in their hand. That's not it. I don't think there's a reason not to just send 1 damage at the Karn here. I mean, to send both, because we really want pressure on them, and like doing 3 and 3 and 3 and 6 still isn't lethal. So I think I have to do it like this. So Candelabra essentially adds them 1 mana for each soul land they have. So they have 8 mana next turn. But that does mean they're going to lethal range. So what they cast with that has to impact the board. Of course, if they draw another soul land, especially the other post, you get to gain some life and generate more mana. But if they have to do it with City of Traitors, yeah, this is where it gets. No, they can do it right now. Yeah, and then double cast. So this adds 2 more mana for them, so now they're at 10 mana and they get to Ulamog me again. Okay, let's see if we can beat Ulamog twice, I guess. So that's a Brazen Borer versus Ulamog then. We need 1 attack. 1 more attack than I get, like in this turn cycle. If they have a Ballista, I'm just dead. Basically. That's 9. 11. So Ballista, I'm dead. Ulamog, I probably win. Like they need to have a good follow-up. This goes down by like 1 or 2. Oh yeah, that's the Ballista. Oh no. Oh no, because they floated it first. And then, yeah. So it still goes down 1 each. So I think I have a good chance that I win here. But that's of course dependent on what their last card is. Like if they have a Reality Smasher, for example, the easiest example I have, then they win. If they have a the other post, Glimmer post, then they gain 3 lives next turn and they probably win. There's a lot of cards that win in the game here, but they have to have something, and they cannot activate their Ancient Tomb next turn probably. So there's that. They have like a second Ulamog or that kind of stuff. Mr. Brazy B, you're no longer on an adventure. You're now back on an adventure and you get to fight that. Good luck. Maybe you should have stayed on a vacation. Just a thought here. No secret reach, right? No. I played enough with Eldrazi. I know, but it's the one green Eldrazi that always gets people. That one has eaten so many Delvers. Okay, let's see what they have. Let's see if we can beat Ulamog two games in a row. I hope so. It would be fun. Well, I think that would be fun. What do we have here? Did you get there? Tap your ancient tomb. You can do it. Tap your ancient tomb. That's the warrior way to go. No, I don't. Let's see. They have 10 mana. They could cast another Ulamog, but then they die. So without the ancient tomb, they have 7 mana currently. Can they kill my Brazen Borer? They can kill my Brazen Borer, right? No, they need 7 mana for that. And mana to untap. So they have another land that doesn't damage them, like a non-tombed land. They get to blind zone this, right? Cost 4. Then they need 4 more mana. So yeah, if they have something that adds 2 mana, so it can be a normal, it has to be a soul land or a post locust land. Then they blow up my Brazen Borer by charging this and tapping it. So there's a lot of stuff that kills us. Like any land that produces more than 1 mana, any locust, walking ballista, any creature removal they have. I don't know what else. Probably a bunch of stuff. Is it the ballista? No, they're charging that, but now they don't have mana to untap it and fade it. Yeah, they needed a soul land for that. And they scooped. Well, that was a close game. I think I could have died like so many ways and for so many reasons. So yeah, that was the end of this league. Quickly gonna go back to the deck list. We went 4-1 here. Losing and winning to Rock Delver. Somehow winning against Hogag and Reg. And beating Post. I think we had 1 decent matchup and like 4 bad matchups, since these were both Rock Delver lists with Tarmogoyfs and Hooting Mandrills, which wasn't the trend lately, but apparently people are back on that, which is bad for us. With regards to the deck list, I think the Royal Science didn't really show up, but we didn't play against Snow, which is the deck I wanted it for. But also when I had it against Rock Delver, it just takes so long in the face of Pyroblasts as to survive. It's probably just not good enough. The Pyromancer basically performed how I thought it was. It was pretty good. At some point I forgot that I had to discard 2 cards and I can just like discard 1 or something like that. Yeah, it's an interesting card. I definitely want to try this a bit more. Still have to reconsider whether Submerge is the right bounce spell, if indeed more people are on Rainbow Depths. Maybe just want to make a bounce spell of this, maybe want a Narset there. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do for the next league. The Carcass was good, very good a couple of times, but also pretty bad against the Delver in the Delver matchups a couple of times. So I could see that either way. I think it was really pretty on par with Wasteland in this league, and I think that's on average largely how it works out. But it does open up a sideboard spot like this. So I still like this change. I'm gonna keep this for the next league, but definitely gonna look at the Royal Scions and then just jam some more games with the list as it is and just get some more experience with it. Thank you folks for watching, and I'll see you in the next league or somewhere else. Thank you. Have fun.